Okay, so here's what's happening in the yard today. Cleaned up the carport, cleaned out all the leaves, bunch of old boxes and crap. And so that looks fairly decent. There's Mama Kitty over there in the chair sunning herself. Doesn't she just look content? Here's the big oak tree in the side yard. Neighbor's house is pretty close to the fence over there. And there's the Lenten rose, my first one I ever had. Here it is closer up. You can see it's got a lot of blooms, and I dug out a big chunk of it and gave away, but this plant is still pretty big. Daffodils have lost their blooms. That's about all that's left of that. I had learned the name of this ground cover that some people in Tulsa gave me a starter plant for, but I've forgotten it now. But it's not snow on the mountain, it's something else, and it's got all these beautiful little yellow flowers in spring, and they're just starting to come out. But this stuff is all down the side of the carport. This lilac bush has been here since before I bought the house, 24 years ago. But I just built a planter a couple years ago for it, and it looks like it's doing better. And the lilac blooms are just starting to come out. So that ought to look nice in a few days. Down below it, on the lower tier here, I put some more. Those are the baby Lenten roses. And I found these croquet balls in the carport today, and I thought I'll just toss them out and pretend that that's actually decorative. These two little plants, and what was supposed to be two more little plants over here, but it's like only one is alive. Those are cranberries. Following around over here, this is another of those baby Lenten roses I planted last year, and it's already got some blooms. And all these wild strawberries. And you can see the blooms on the wild strawberries. Or else there's something else in there growing with them, I don't know. But I decided to leave them in there last year, and they just took over. They're going wild. I thought, what the heck? If it wants to, I'll let it. And stuck another Lenten rose, another one. These are the regular strawberries I planted in here, and they're in that second tier. Then around this sugar maple, I built this planter, and I've got Lenten roses growing all around it. And again, we have this one is bloomed out already. Yeah, I like euonymus plants. I like variegated plants. So I've got this variety growing along the back of the yard here. This is another variety. They kind of died off last year after doing well for several years. And this planter has the white and green stuff in it, and we go over to the other side, and we've got this yellow and green, and it's just scooting right up the tree here, and I'm just going to let it go as high as it wants to, but it's doing really well over here. See, it's filled up the bed pretty nicely. Here's the little apple tree I planted last year. No blooms on it. And the side yard here on the house. Those are all roses Sharon plants, and they do very well. They got daffodils below them, a few lilies, and I put in some strawberry plants this year. And on this side, this is one of the little cherry hedges, and you can see they are all in bloom. And then the cherries extend to the front yard along the street. And they are down here. And they have also got a cottony aster ground cover below them, which hasn't really filled out all that well yet. Here are the tulips in the front planter. Tulips, Lenten roses. These are ones I planted several years back, so they're not as old as the very old one, not as young as the very young ones. But here's some darker, redder ones. And you can see we got quite a bit of tulips this year. All colors came out at once. Here's one of the tuxedo boys. There's two of them that look just the same. Okay, here's the two best cherry bushes. I don't know why they did so much better than those other ones, but they're just huge. And as you can see, covered with blossoms. There's that half of a dog kennel thing that the neighbors gave me. And what is that? That's 6 feet high, and each panel's 10 foot long, so that gives you any idea how big. There's my garden spot. That's the main one. And then over here, I need to till that one back up again. There's the house. And you can see the trim matches the car perfectly.